You agreed with me that you lived in a frictionless state. Can you tell?
Not in conflict with the society.
Mhm.
You know, Eh, this is the only reality I have. It's the world as it is today, and the ultimate reality that man has invented has absolutely no relationship whatsoever with the reality of this world. So as long as you are seeking, searching, wanting to understand that reality which you call ultimate reality, or call it by whatever name you like, so long it will not be possible for you to come to terms with the reality of the world exactly the way it is. And so anything you do to escape from the reality of this world will make it difficult for you to live in harmony with the things around you. So we have an idea of harmonies. So how to live at peace with yourself. That's an idea. But already there is an extraordinary peace that is there. So what makes it difficult for you to live at peace with yourself is the creation of what you call peace, which is totally unrelated to the harmonious functioning of this body. I don't know. So you see, when you free yourself from the burden, you see, of reaching out there to grasp, to experience, and to be in that reality, then you find it that it is more difficult to understand the reality of anything. You have no way of experiencing the reality of anything, you see. So at least you are not living in a world of illusions. You accept that there is nothing that you can do to experience the reality of anything, except the reality that is imposed on us by the society. So we have to accept the reality as it is imposed on us by the society, because it is very essential for us to function in this world intelligently and sanely. So if we don't accept that reality, we are lost, you see. So we end up, you see, in the loony bin. So we have to accept the reality as it is imposed on us by culture, by society, or whatever you want to call it, and at the same time understand there is nothing that you can do to experience the reality of anything. I don't know. So then you cannot be in conflict with the society. And also the demand to be something other than what you are also comes to an end. You see, it is the goal that you have placed before yourself, rather the goal which you have accepted as the ideal goal to be reached, is not there. The demand, you see, to be something other than what you are also is not there. It's not a question of accepting it, but it is the pursuit of those goals which the culture has placed before us and we have accepted as the desirable ones is not there anymore. So the demand to reach that goal also is not there anymore. So you are what you are. See, the movement in the direction of becoming something other than what you are isn't there anymore. So you are not in conflict with yourself. See, first, and so if you are not in conflict with yourself, you cannot be conflicting with the society around you. So you are not at peace with yourself. So it's not possible for you to be at peace with others. Even then, there is no guarantee that your neighbors will be peaceful. See, you are not concerned with that. You see, you are at peace with yourself, and the consequences of which are really difficult to face. Then you become a threat to the society, as it functions today, you see. So you become a threat to your neighbors also, because they have accepted the reality of the world as real, and they are pursuing some funny thing called peace. And so you will become a threat to their existence as they know it and as they experience it. I don't know. So you are all alone. Not the aloneness that people want to avoid. You are all alone. It's not, you see, the ultimate reality that one is interested in, you see, are the techniques and systems and methods that he is using to achieve whatever the goal is, you know. But you know, the running of the motor there, not the teachings of the gurus, not the teachings of the holy men, not the techniques, you see, umpteen number of them you have, which will give you the energy which you are seeking. But that one, you see, that movement is not there, is the thing that will set in motion and release the energy that is there. It doesn't have to be, you see, the holy man's teaching. It doesn't have to be any techniques that man has invented, because there is no friction there. You really don't know what it is. So the movement there and the movement here is one. You see, there is energy there, you know. So that you say it's a mechanical energy, but this is also a mechanical energy. This is also a machine. The human machine is no different from the machine out there. So both of them are in one unison. So whatever energy is there, the same energy is in operation here. So any other energy you experience through the practice of any techniques is a frictional energy. That energy is created by the friction of thought. The demand to experience that energy is the one that is responsible for the energy you experience. But this energy is something which cannot be experienced at all. This is just an expression of life, a manifestation of life. You don't have to do a thing. Anything you do to experience that is preventing the possibility of that energy that is already there, which is the expression of life, which is the manifestation of life, to function there. But it has no value in terms of the values we give to whatever we are doing. See, the techniques of meditation, yoga and all that. I am not against any one of those things, please don't get me wrong, but they are not the means to achieve, you see, the goal that you have placed before yourself. So the goal itself is false. You know, if the suppleness of the body is the goal you have before you, probably the techniques of yoga will certainly help you to keep the body supple, you see, but that is not the instrument, you see, to reach the goal of enlightenment or transformation or whatever you want to call it. Or even the techniques of meditation. You see, all those are self-centered activities. They are all self-perpetuating mechanisms which you use. So the object of your search for the ultimate reality is defeated by all these techniques, because these techniques are self-perpetuating instruments which you are using. And then you will suddenly realize, or it dawns on you, that the very search for the ultimate reality is also a self-perpetuating mechanism. So there is nothing to reach, nothing to gain, nothing to attain. So as long as you are doing something to attain whatever your goal is, so long this is a self-perpetuating mechanism. When I use the word self-perpetuating mechanism, I don't mean that there is a self or an entity, but it has this self-perpetuating mechanism. I have to use the word self because there is no other word. You know, the self-starter you have in the car, the self-igniting things, like that, you know. So it perpetuates itself. That is all that it is interested in. So anything you want to achieve is a self-centered activity. Now, when I use the word self-centered activity, you always translate it in terms of something that should be avoided, you know, because the selflessness is the goal before you. As long as you are doing something to be selfless, so long you are a self-centered individual. So when this movement in the direction of wanting to be a selfless man is not there, then there is no self, there is no self-centered activity. So it is the techniques which you are using, the systems and methods which you are using to reach your goal of selflessness is itself, you see, a self-centered activity. So when once the demand is not there anymore, but unfortunately the society has placed before us, or culture or whatever you want to call it, as is a perfect goal, you see, the ideal goal. That's the goal of everybody, because a selfless man will be, you see, a great asset to the society, and the society is interested only in continuity, the status quo, you see. So all those values which we have accepted as values that one should cultivate are invented by, you see, the human mind to keep itself going. You see, so the goal is the one that is making it possible for you to continue this way, but you are not getting anywhere. You see. The hope that one day through some miracle or through the help of somebody you will be able to reach the goal. So it is the hope that keeps you going, but actually and factually you are not getting anywhere. You will realize somewhere along the line that whatever you are doing to reach your goal is not leading you anywhere. But then you see, you want to try this, that and the other. But if you try one, you see, that's it. You see, all the other systems are exactly the same. But this has to be very, very clear, you see. In whatever pursuit you are in, you are indulging in it, if I may use that word. And somewhere along the line it has to dawn on you that it is not leading you anywhere. So as long as you want something, so long you will do that. So that want has to be very, very clear. What do you want? That is why all the time I ask you the question, what do you want? I want to be at peace with myself, you see. So that is an impossible goal for you, because everything you are doing to be at peace with yourself is the one that is destroying the peace that is already there. So you have set in motion the movement of thought, which is destroying the peace that is there. You see, I don't know if it is clear to you. I know it's not very clear. Anyway, it's very difficult to understand that all that you are doing is the impediment, is the one that is disturbing the harmony, the peace that is already there. Any movement in any direction on any level is a very destructive factor for the smooth functioning and the peaceful functioning of this living organism, which is not at all interested in your spiritual experiences. It has no interest in any one of those spiritual experiences, however extraordinary they may be. And once you have one spiritual experience, there is bound to be a demand for more and more of the same, and ultimately you will want to be in that permanent state. There is no such thing as permanent happiness, permanent bliss at all. I can say that probably you think that there is, because all those books talk of the eternal bliss, permanent bliss, permanent happiness, and you know jolly well that it is not leading you anywhere. So the mechanism that is involved, the instrument that you are using is the one that keeps you going, because it does not know of anything else. It has come into being through so many years of hard work, effort and will. That itself is effort, that itself is will. You are wanting to be in a state of effortlessness through the use of effort is not going to succeed. So forget about the effortless state. It doesn't exist at all. So if you want to be in an effortless state through effort, how the hell are you going to achieve that goal? You forget that everything you are doing, any movement that is there, any want that is there, for whatever reason you want to be in an effortless state, is effort. So you cannot achieve the goal of effortlessness. Effortlessness is something which cannot be achieved through effort. So is there anything that you can do to stop the effort? Even that also is an effort. It's really a maddening thing. It is. Thank God you have not pushed yourself really, into that corner. Then you you will really go crazy. You are frightened of that. It's impossible. You have to see that everything you are doing to be in that effortless state, for whatever reason you want to be in there, is effort. Even wanting not to use effort also is effort. The will, the effort, the total absence of will and the total absence of effort of all and every kind may be called an effortless state, but that effortless state is not something that you can achieve through effort, or not at all possible. I don't know. If you have ever understood, the meaninglessness of what you are doing. So you can change the techniques, you can change the teachers, but basically and essentially, the very teaching that you are using to reach your goal is the obstacle. It doesn't matter what teaching you follow. If you question the teaching, unfortunately, you have to question the teacher himself, So therein comes this sentiment. So something is wrong with me. One day I am going to understand. So if it is not possible for you to understand today, you are not going to understand at all. So the understanding is the demand, the absence of the demand for understanding. Either now or tomorrow. Now there is no understanding necessary. The understanding is only for the purpose of understanding something tomorrow, not today. Today you don't have to understand a thing at all. It may sound funny to you, but that's the way it is. So what do you want to understand? You can't understand me at all. I've been talking, I don't know, for 20 days. I can go on. You are not going to understand anything at all. It's not that it is difficult, it is so simple. The complex structure that is involved is the very thing that does not accept the simplicity of it. That is really the problem. It can't be that simple. Because that structure is so complex that it doesn't want even to consider the possibility that it could be so simple. So you are going to understand tomorrow, not today. So tomorrow it's the same story, and then after 10 years it's the same story. So what do you do about this situation? We all have been through that, actually, literally went mad. Either you flip or fly. The chances of flipping are really good if you push yourself to that yourself into the corner. You are not going to do that at all. What do you want to understand? I am not saying anything profound. I've been repeating the same thing day after day after day. So it's not something that the thought is manufactured here. It's not a thought manufactured or logically a certain premise that I'm putting across to you. Basically, it sounds very contradictory to you. You see, what actually I am doing, if you don't understand, you see, what I am doing is that I make a statement, and the second statement is negating the first statement. Sometimes you see some contradictions in what I am saying. Actually, they are not contradictions. So this statement does not express what I am trying to express. So the second statement is negating the first statement, and the third statement is negating the first two statements. Fourth statement is negating the previous three statements, not with the idea of arriving at any goal, not with the idea of communicating anything to you. There is nothing to be communicated, only this series of negations, not with the idea of arriving at any goal. The goal is understanding, So you want to understand, you see. There is nothing to understand here. See, every time you make some sense out of it. So I'm trying to point out that's not it. It is not the doctrine of neti. In India they evolved this negative approach. But the so-called negative approach is a positive approach, because still they are interested in reaching the goal. So they have failed through their positive approaches. They have invented what is called the negative approach. Not this, not this, not this. The unknown cannot be reached, you see, or cannot be experienced through positive approach. So they have failed. So then you see, this so-called negative approach is not really a negative approach, because the goal is still a positive goal of knowing the unknown, for example, you see, or wanting to experience something which cannot be experienced. So this movement, you see, which has adopted a negative approach, is still interested in the positive goal. So of knowing the unknown, experiencing something which cannot be experienced. It's only a trick. That's all it is, playing with itself. As long as the goal is a positive goal, no matter what the goal is, so long any approach, whether it is called positive or negative, is not a negative approach, it's a positive approach. It's all right to play games with you, it's interesting, but there is no such thing as the beyond, no such thing as the unknown. If you accept that there is such a thing as the unknown, you will do something or the other to know the known. Your interest is to know. So this movement is not going to stop as long as it is interested in experiencing something that cannot be experienced. So that means that there is still something which cannot be experienced, So there is no such thing as the unknown at all. So how can you say that there is no such thing as the unknown? How can you make such a dogmatic assertion? You will find out, as long as you see you are pursuing the unknown, so long you see this movement is in operation. There is something that you can do. See, that gives you the hope. Maybe, you see, one day you will stumble into this, to experience the unknown. How can, if there is any unknown, ever become part of the known. Not a chance. Even assuming for a moment that this movement, which is demanding to know the unknown, is not there, what is there you will never know. You have no way of knowing that at all, no way of capturing that and experiencing that or giving expression to it. So to talk of that bliss, the eternal bliss, love and all that is romantic poetry, because you have no way of capturing that and containing it and giving expression to it. So this dawns on you that this is not the movement, this is not the instrument that can help you to understand anything, and there is no other instrument. So then there is nothing to understand. I don't know to talk. Give it talk. You help me. You see, if you translate what I am saying in terms of your values, in terms of ethical codes of conduct, you are really missing the point. It's not that I am against the moral codes of conduct. You see, they have a social value. You understand? So, for the smooth functioning of the societies, they were essential. But you will have to have some code of conduct for functioning in this world intelligently. See? Otherwise, there will be utter chaos in this world. So, that is essential. That's a social problem. It is not an ethical problem. It's not a religious problem at all. So you have to separate the two things, but we are living in different world today. See, they are not because they are bad, but because they are unsuitable to the present occasion. So we have to find out some other way of keeping ourselves in harmony, see, with the world around us. But as long as you are in conflict within yourself, so long it is not possible for you to be in harmony with the society around you. So you are yourself responsible for that. It is not the world that is, that's a messy world. But
how can one be responsible?
What exactly do you mean by responsible?
It's like
What do you mean?
I don't think it exists.
Huh? What exactly do you mean by responsibility? Your responsibility for what? If you are not talking of responsibility, it doesn't mean that you are irresponsible. You can't be irresponsible at all, because it is disturbing, you see, the smooth running of the society. If you are interested in the smooth running of the society, you have necessarily to be responsible. I don't know what exactly you mean by responsible.
No, I mean in this.
To fit yourself into the framework of the society. See, that is what you call responsibility. So if you demand rights, you have duties. You can't have rights without duties. Unfortunately, here in the West, the demand for rights only. See, you ignore the duties that go with the demand for rights. In the other part of the world, especially in India, you have no rights, but you have only duties. That's equally bad. So we have to establish a harmonious, relationship between the understandable, meaningful relationship between your duties and responsibility. I don't know, it's the rights. You cannot have rights, So I don't have any rights in this world, so I don't have any duties, except the duties that I have towards my fellow beings. See, I cannot destroy anything in this world. I cannot do anything. I just can't do. It's impossible for me to, not because I'm a responsible man or anything. I cannot dispossess anybody of anything for any reason. So the communists think that I'm a communist. I'm not a communist, you see, because I don't want to dispossess anybody of anything. You can have everything you want. I'm the last person to dispossess you of anything. So you will be unhappy. Why should I cause you unhappiness? For the sake of feeding the poor? they will become more unhappy than before, suddenly. So, that is, I don't know what exactly you mean by responsibility. See, any harm you do to anybody is harming you, you know. So if I hurt somebody, you know, it is hurting me physically, not psychologically or in a fancy way. If I hurt somebody physically, it hurts me physically. So I can't do that, you know, to anybody. So psychologically, you see, you can do anything. You see, you should not hurt anybody. You should not hurt the feelings of others and all that kind of a thing. You should be sensitive to the people around you, to the world around you, sensitive to the plants, sensitive to everything. You see, that's just a tall talking. So it has to come down to the level of a physical hurt. You see, if you hurt somebody, it's going to hurt you also. So then you can't hurt anybody. So I don't go around calling myself a responsible man. If you cut the hand of somebody, is it going to hurt you? Yes, it is going to hurt you. So you may not, your finger may not come off, but you see the physical pain is shared there. You see, it's not a shared feeling, it's the same. The pain is exactly the same. So you may not bleed there, but still it is a very painful thing for you also. So you cannot harm anybody for any reason. So it has to be brought down to the level of physical hurt. Otherwise you will manipulate things, manage things. As long as the policeman was there inside of you, which religion very successfully managed to put the policeman inside. For fear of hell, fear of this, fear of that, is, you know, things running smoothly. Now you see, it's very easy to cheat a policeman out there. You can manipulate, you can bribe him, do anything you want. But both are bad now. The inside policeman as well as the policeman out there cannot keep order anyway. You have lost faith in both. And yet we need him to protect our things. So do you or do you not want a policeman to protect your things? That's for you to decide. Your life, your property, everything. I'm afraid if you translate the statements that I am making within the framework of your religious thinking, you are really missing the point. You know, it has nothing to do with it at all. I'm not suggesting that you should change yourself into something other than what you are. It is just not possible. I am not trying to free you from anything. So I don't think there is any purpose in this talking. But in the light of the description, maybe you will realize that the image you have of whatever you are after has no relationship whatsoever. So you can brush aside this in my description and say it is nonsense. That's your privilege. But maybe see, it will occur to you that the image you have of your goal or image of what you are going to be one day, through all the effort and will which you are using, has absolutely no relationship whatsoever with what I am describing. This is not really what you are interested in. You know, I was telling you the other day, I wish I could give you just a glimpse of it. See, you know, not glimpse in the sense in which you use the word glimpse. A touch of it is, you wouldn't want to touch this at all. And what you want, what you are interested in, doesn't exist. You can have lot of petty experiences. If that is what you are interested in, you do all the meditations, do everything you want. You see, you will have lots of them. It's a lot easier to experience those things by taking drugs. I'm not recommending drugs, you know. They are the same, you know, exactly the same. And the doctors say that that will damage the brain, you see, or something. This will also damage the brain if it is done very seriously, some of those things. You know. That's why they have all gone crazy. Jumped into the river and killed themselves. You know. They did all kinds of things. Locked themselves up in caves because they couldn't face it, you know. So you see, it's not possible for you to watch your thoughts. It's not possible for you to watch every step you take. You see, to drive you can't walk. You know, that's not what is meant by this idea that you should be aware of everything. Watch your thought. How is it possible for you to watch every thought of yours? And for what you want to watch your thoughts? What for? Control. It's not possible for you to control. It is a tremendous momentum, you see. When you succeed in your imagination that you have controlled your thoughts and experience some space between two thoughts or some state of thoughtless state or whatever you want to call it, you feel that you are getting somewhere. That is a thought-induced state of thoughtless state. See, that's a thought-induced space between two thoughts. The fact that you experience those states, space between two thoughts and thoughtless state, means that the thought was very, very, very much there. You know, so it surfaces afterwards. You know, like the river Rhone, you know, flows through France. Somewhere it disappears and then comes up again. So it has gone underground. That does not mean that the river is not there. It is still there. You can't use it for purposes of navigation, but ultimately it comes up again and reaches the ocean. In exactly the same way, to all these things you are pushing it down, you see, to the subterranean regions, and feel that you are experiencing something extraordinary, but it surfaces, and then you find that, you see, those thoughts are welling up inside of you. Anything you are not aware that you are breathing now. You don't have to be conscious of your breathing. What for do you want to be conscious of your breathing? To control your breathing. You know, expand your lungs, do what you like, you see, your chest, it's a different matter. But why do you want to be aware, you see, of the movement of breath from the origin to the end, whatever is the end? Then you suddenly become, you see, conscious of your breathing. So your breath and thought are very closely related. That's why you want to control your breath. And that in a way is controlling the thought for a while. But if you hold your breath for long, you see, it's going to choke you to death. In exactly the same way, anything you do to hold it, block the flow of thoughts, is going to choke you to death, literally to death. So, or it will damage something there. It's a very powerful vibration. Thought is after all a vibration. What is thought? Extraordinary vibration. It is like an atom, you know. So you can't play with those things at all, except the petty experiences you have when you manipulate those things. For what purpose? You are not going to reach your goal of completely controlling your thought. It has to function in its own way, in its disconnected, disjointed way. That is something which cannot be brought about through any effort of yours. It has to fall into its normal rhythm. So even if you want to make it fall into the normal rhythm, you are adding momentum to that. So that has a life of its own. It has unfortunately established a parallel life with the movement of life. These two are always in conflict. So that will come to an end only when that body becomes, you see, as I was saying yesterday, you see, the thought has become the master of this body. You see, it's not has totally mastered the whole thing. It is still trying to control everything that is there. So you cannot put the servant out of the household, no matter what you do. If you forcibly do it, he will burn the whole household, and then only, knowing very well that he will also be burned. It's a foolish thing for it, but that's what it's going to do, if you try. So, but don't push these similes to the logical conclusions. But you will find out for yourself when you do these things, not just take them lightly. You take them lightly and play with them, that's all right. Twice.
Just float along. No.
You mustn't be afraid of...
Nothing to pursue, just float.
Even that floating is not a voluntary thing on your part. You don't have to do a thing. You are not separate from that. That's all that I'm emphasizing. You cannot separate yourself from the thoughts and say these are my thoughts. That is the illusion you have. And so you cannot be without any illusion. You will always replace one illusion with another illusion. Always.
And you accept that as well. And I accept that as well in myself.
You accept that you are always replacing one illusion with another illusion. So your wanting to be free from illusion is an impossibility. That itself is an illusion. So what do you want to be free from illusions? That's the end of you see. Now it's not that I'm frightening you, I'm just pointing out that it is not just, you see, a light-hearted game to play. You see. So that is you as you know yourself, you see, that knowledge you have of yourself is not there anymore. It can't be anymore there. So when it is not there, you see, the knowledge you have about the world also is not there anymore. It can't be there anymore. So it is not going to come to an end that easy, and that it will always be replaced by another illusion. So you don't want to be a normal person, you don't want to be an ordinary person. That is really the problem. It's the most difficult thing, is to be an ordinary person. And culture demands that, you see, you must be something other than what you are. That has set in momentum is this tremendous, powerful movement of thought which demands that you should be something other than what you are. That's all that is there. You use it to achieve something, otherwise it has no use. The only use you have for the thought is to feed this body. Without thought you cannot, you see, you won't. So that is why thought is there, and to reproduce one like this. That's all the use you have for the thought. It has no other use at all. It's not, it cannot be used to speculate, you see. You can build tremendous philosophical structure of thought, but it has no value at all. You can interpret it, you see. Any event in your life, the events around you, and build up another philosophical structure of thought. But that's not intended for that. But at the same time, you don't forget rather, that everything you see you have around you is the creation of thought. You are yourself is born out of that thought, otherwise you wouldn't be here at all. So in that sense, you see, it has a tremendous value. But yet, that is the very thing that will destroy you. That's the paradox about it. Everything that you have created in this world has become possible through the help of that thought, but unfortunately that very thing has become the enemy of man. So you are using that for purposes for which it is not interested in solving the living problems. It can be used for solving the technical problems very well and efficiently, but that is something which cannot be used to solve the problems of life. So positive thinking, positive living, very interesting, you see, you know. You can't be always positive. How can you be positive? So anything that is not suggestive of positive thing, you call it negative. But negative is the positive and negative is only in the field of your thinking. When the thought is not there, it is neither positive nor negative. So as I was saying, there is no such thing as a negative approach at all. It's a gimmick to play with. To use another simile, you see, I'm telling you, see, stand on your own feet. You can walk, you can swim, you are not going to sink. That's all that I can say. You know, as long as there is a fear, so long the danger of your sinking there is almost certain. Otherwise, you see, there is a buoyancy there in the water that keeps you afloat. The fear of sinking is the very thing that makes it impossible for you to let the movement move in its own ways. It has no direction. It's just a movement. It has no direction. You're all the time trying to manipulate and channel that along a particular direction so that you can have some benefits out of it. It is just a movement without a direction. I have to repeat the same thing in different words. That's what I have been doing all the time. If you read that, you will be surprised how repetitive the whole thing is. You don't...
Actually, we are rather fond of thinking as a man, as a human being. And I'm wondering if it is no... what you said about it is just useful for the reproduction of mankind and for obtaining food. For if we had no thoughts, we shouldn't continue to be, and we shouldn't eat. But why this rather funny animal is thinking all the time? Why, and just building all those thoughts and not just...
If you give, I will ask you the question. You tell me, when do you think? Not why do you think, that's not the question. When do you think? I'm asking you a question.
Yes.
When do you think?
As far as I know, all the time.
All the time. And for what is responsible for your thinking, you see? No, I think
No,
you
it
haven't
is-
yet answered my
it is
question.
something like-
When do you think? When you want something, you think. It's very
No,
clear
not-
to me.
Not at all.
Of course, yes.
Mm.
You don't even know that you are thinking. See, do you know that you are thinking now? It's an automatic thing.
It's an automatic
It's an
thing.
automatic thing.
That's
You don't
right.
even know that you are thinking. And so why this sudden interest in wanting to find out why you are thinking? You see, I don't even know that I'm talking. You don't even know that you are talking. You know? When you ask your question, you say, then you say, am I thinking? You say yes. You would say yes. That yes also is an automatic thing.
Well, I don't care if it's automatically or not there. A lot of automatically.
The whole
things
thing,
in-
the whole
in-
thing is an automatic one.
But
Whatever is put in there, when you are stimulated, comes out. You see, they use the jargon of a computer language. The input has to be there. You understand? So this has been going on and on and on and on. So when there is a stimulation, it comes out. You see. So if it is not there, you see, it stops. So that's the reason why you go on, you see, acquiring this knowledge, feeding it all the time. It's in the computer. Since after all, it's an automatic thing that is there.
Mhm.
So what do you know? You know a lot, you see. You have gathered all this from various sources and filling it up. Most of it is not necessary, you see. So you know a lot and you want to know more and more and more to use it, you see. Of course, yes. There is no such thing as knowledge for the sake of knowledge.
That
It
one
gives
thing-
me a power, it gives you power, you see. Knowledge is power, you see. You know, I know, you don't know. Mhm. So that gives you power. You may not even be conscious of that, you see. You are knowing more than the other, gives you a power. So in that sense, knowledge is power. And to acquire more and more knowledge, other than the knowledge that is essential for the survival of the living organism, is to acquire more and more power over others. You accept the technical knowledge that you need, you see, to make a living. That is understandable, you know, that's all. I have to learn, you see, a technique. You see. Otherwise I can't, the society is not going to fit unless I give something in return. And what they want, they know, you see. You have to give what they want, not what you have to give. See, what have you to give? You have nothing to give, you see, anyway. So, otherwise, what value has this knowledge for you? To know more about this is something which you really do not know. But anyway, we are all the time talking about thought and thinking. And if somebody asks you a question, which I am asking you a question, what is thought? Have you ever looked at thought? Let alone controlling thought, let alone manipulating thought, let alone using the thought for achieving something, material or otherwise. You cannot look at your thought because you can't separate yourself from thought and look at it. You see. The illusion that you have is the knowledge you have about thought is all that is there. There is no thought independent or apart from the knowledge you have about those thoughts, the definitions you have. So if somebody asks a question, what is thought? Any answer you have is the answer that is put in there, the answers that others have given. And you have, by combinations and permutations of those ideations and meditations about thoughts, created your own thoughts, which you call your own. So just like you see, mixing up is different colors. You create, I don't know how many thousands of pastel colors we have. Basically, all of them can be reduced to only 7 colors that you find in the nature. So even the 7 colors you see, they are not actually 7. Anyway, I don't want to go into that whole color scheme in nature and all that. So what you think you see is yours is the combination and permutation of all those thoughts, just the way you have created hundreds and hundreds of pastel colors. You have created your own ideas. That is what you call thinking. So, but when you want to look at thought, what is there is only what all you know about thought. I don't know. Otherwise you can't look at thought. There is no thought other than what is there, what you know about thought. This is all that I am saying. So when that is understood, you see the meaninglessness of the whole business of wanting to look at thought comes to an end, because it's not possible. What is there is only what you know, the definitions given by others. And out of those definitions, if you are very intelligent and clever enough, create your own definitions. That's all. So it is like any other object you have around you. There are so many objects, So when you look at it, you see the knowledge you have about that comes into your head. So there is an illusion that the thought is something different. So it is you that create the object. The object may be there, but the knowledge you have about that object is all that you know. Apart from that knowledge and independent of that knowledge, free from that knowledge, you have no way of knowing anything about it. You have no way of directly experiencing anything. We started with that. When I use the word directly, it does not mean that there is any other way of experiencing things. That's a wrong word. Directly implies that there is some other way of experiencing things directly, other than the way you are experiencing things. So the knowledge you have about it is all that is there, and that is what you are experiencing. Really, you don't know what it is. In exactly the same way, when you want to know something about thought, experience thought, it is the same process that is in operation there. There is no inside and outside. What is there is only the operation, the flow of the knowledge. So you cannot actually separate yourself from thought and look at it. So when once such a question is thrown at you, what should happen is that giving all the answers is no meaning, because all that is acquired and thought of. So that moment stops. So there is no need for you to answer the question. There is no need for you to know anything about it. So all that you know comes to a halt. Not literally, so it has no momentum anymore. It slows down. So then it dawns upon you the meaninglessness of trying to answer that question, because it has really no answer at all. The answers that others have given are there. So you have nothing to say on that thing called thought, because what all you can say is what you have gathered from other sources, and so you have no answer of your own.
All right. But even then, we can have a little conversation, I should say.
All right, all right.
Apart from the question of if it is meaningful or
All
meaningless,
right, yes.
There is something like, you say, walls and things and people around here, and what we know about is, what we see about it, we know about it, only what we know, that's what we...
Yes, but that is not what that person is.
No.
So you don't know actually anything about that person or the thing. Except, you see, what you are projecting on that object or the individual, the knowledge you have about it. See, and this knowledge is the experience, you know. It goes on and on, that's all. So, what that really is, you have no way of knowing.
No, that is what I do understand.
Yes, yes.
And when we are speaking about reality, we can speak about those knowledge about it and call this knowledge reality, and we can speak about that which the knowledge is put on.
What for? Then it becomes, you see, a classroom discussion or the discussion in debating societies, each one trying to show that he knows more, a lot more than the other, and arriving at some what do you get out of it? Is each one trying to prove that he knows more than you do, win you over to his point of view.
You know, what I'm trying to ask is there any chance, what I did understand about you talking is there is no magic, but is there any chance of getting out of this knowledge of reality to reality? Is
See,
there...
if you are lucky enough, it's only luck, to get out of this trap of the knowledge, the question of reality is not there anymore. Because the question is thrown out by this knowledge, which is still interested in finding out the reality of things and to experience for yourself directly what the reality is all about. So when this is not there, the question is also not there. So there is no need for finding out any answer. Because this question which you are posing yourself and also putting it to me is born out of the assumption that there is a reality, and that assumption is born out of this knowledge you have of and about the reality. So when this is not there, the knowledge is not there, the knowledge is the answer you already have, which is why you are asking the question. The question automatically goes. So what is necessary is not to find out the answer for the question, but understand that the question which you are asking, posing yourself and putting it to somebody, is born out of the answer you already have, which is the knowledge. So the question and answer format, if we indulge in for long, becomes a meaningless ritual. See, question and answer business. But if you are really interested in finding out the reality, this has to dawn on you that your very questioning mechanism is born out of the answers that you already have. Otherwise there can't be any question. Because it's an assumption on your part that there is a reality, first of all, and then that there is something that you can do to experience the reality of things. Without the knowledge gives you the experience of reality. That is for sure. So, if this is not there, is there any other way of experiencing the reality? You are asking the question. The question goes with the answer. And so there is no need to ask questions and there is no need to answer. I'm not trying to be clever, I'm just spotlighting is what is involved is in the question and answer business. I'm not actually answering any of your questions. I'm just pointing out you cannot have any questions. What you have is the answers.
Yeah, I do understand. Even then, I would like to continue the,
All right.
the game.
All right. Game, fine. Maybe you are good at the game. I am not. Anyway, we'll see what we can do.
Even though, you know, our preoccupation is knowledge about it, about anything, you are talking about reality to us and about accepting reality
As it is.
as it is.
As it is imposed on us by our culture for purposes of intelligent, sane functioning in this world. And yet realizing that it has no other value other than the functional value. Otherwise we will be in trouble, you see, if you don't call this a microphone and decide to call that, you see, a monkey tomorrow, we will all relearn, and call that every time we look at it, red or black monkey instead of a microphone, you see, that's all, you see. So, it's very simple, you see, for purposes of communication.
I wonder what would happen if you do
What?
call that a lamp and that this and that. Because a lot of our philosophies and ideas and all
The whole discussion is about that.
are also linked with it. So,
Yeah, that's all for hours and hours.
so you mix that up.
No, it's interesting you see, to build a philosophical structure. It's why we have so many philosophers, so many philosophies in this world. I'm ready. It will be a one man's game, you see.
And accepting. Until now, there's only one possibility to strive after accepting. For every strive without acceptance is it's just something like running your head
Yes,
through a wall.
see, don't you see the contradiction in those terms? If you accept, where is the need for striving?
Yeah, not
If you-
personal need.
Finish, that comes to an end. If you accept something, you cannot talk of striving there at all. You have accepted this, you believe. You believe in something, you accept it as an act of faith, and that's the end of it, you see. So, you can't say, if you question that, that means you have not accepted it. You are not sure of it.
Maybe I can give you a very simple example. I had to accept my job as being just a legal officer. Before I could strive to
acquire the knowledge that is necessary
yes.
to get the job. So you see, you had to struggle, put a lot of effort,
Yes.
to acquire the necessary legal knowledge to get this job. That's understood, you see.
Yes.
So that is the only way. There is no other way. And you are applying that technique to achieve, you see, the so-called spiritual growth. This is the difference that I'm pointing out. You see, even as a legal officer, you know that, you see, as a lawyer, suppose. What do they do is in the courts? You see, you have always to rely upon the precedents, you see, the previous judgments. Both the lawyers quote the previous judgments and argue it out, you see, and the judge either accepts yours or the other fellow's and gives the decision either in favor of your client or the other client. All right. So then there is a higher court. You go to the higher court, you see, high court. They are the same. And you go to the Supreme Court. There, finally, the judge decides this is it. See, so you can disagree with the judgment. You see, the client can do everything possible to reject it and refuse to accept. But he has a way of enforcing the judgment through force. If it is a civil case, civil suit, you will lose what you are claiming for. If it is a criminal thing, you will end up, you see, in the prison, punished. You see. So ultimately, that's the man who decides who is telling the lie, who is telling the truth. Arbitrary, it is arbitrary finally. So it is very essential for you to be conversant, you see, with the whole structure of law, and then you see, I don't want to go into that, I'm not a lawyer anyway. I'm just pointing out that it is very essential to know the legal side of it, you see, and acquire the legal knowledge to get your job. The more efficient you are, the better are your chances. You see, the cleverer you are, the better are your prospects. That is understood. So you have to put struggle and use effort, use your will, and then you have arrived at a point. There is always more and more to it. But that is all that instrument which you are using to achieve your spiritual goals. This is all that I am pointing out. That cannot conceive of the possibility of understanding anything except, see, in time. It takes time. It has taken so many years for you to be where you are today. And you are still striving and struggling to reach a higher plateau and higher and higher and higher. You see, their hierarchy is there. So that instrument which you are using cannot conceive of the possibility of understanding anything without effort, without striving, without using will. Cannot conceive of the possibility of it. But the issues that you have to deal in life are the living issues. That is where, you see, this has not helped us to solve the problems. Temporarily, you can find some solution, but that creates another problem, it goes on and on and on and on. So that is something which cannot be used to tackle, you see, the live issues. These are all live issues, you know, the living problems. Demand, you see, the instrument which is not dead. So the instrument which we are using in other areas is a dead instrument. So that cannot be used to understand anything living. That's all that I'm saying. So you cannot but think in terms of striving, effort, time. One day you are going to reach the spiritual goal. just the way you have succeeded or still trying to succeed the goal which you have placed before you.
But do you try to say that there is some knowledge which solves the real problem of life?
No, not at all. That cannot help you to understand or solve the living problems. Because there are no problems there at all in that sense. See, we have only the solutions. You are interested only in solutions, and those solutions have not solved your problem. So you are trying to find different kind of solutions, but the situation will remain exactly the same. But there is somehow the hope that maybe you will find the solution for solving your problems. So your problem is not the problem, but the solution. So the solution is gone, there is no problem there. So you are not ready to accept that that is not the solution. If that is the solution, the problem shouldn't be there anymore. This is what I am emphasizing, the answers given by others, the wise men. The questions shouldn't be there at all. So they are obviously not the answers. If they were the answers, the questions wouldn't be there. So why don't you question the answers? If you question the answers, you question those who have given the answers. So you take it for granted that they're all wise men, they're all spiritually superior to us all. They know what they are talking about, they don't know a damn thing. We stop now. We are not what is the time now? 9? No, 1.5 hours enough today. Unless I get up there, don't. Even if I do,